Hello, welcome back. Today I want to talk about choosing to do your shadow work in order to heal yourself, find your peace, and choose ways of being that aren't hurting you and those around you. And thus, not using your power and your potential in this world for evil. Please don't use your powers for evil. I say this jokingly, but there's some crazy stuff going on in the world lately. And I believe a lot of the perpetrators are very hurt people that are hurting people. I don't believe those people were born evil, per se. I don't actually believe in evil. It's just a fun, dramatic term to use, and I'm very much into the theatrics. What can I say? I do think in recent years I'm finding the actions of some to really feel more evil than I thought was actually possible. It's just like I have never really felt like I believe in enemies. Like I think there's other people with goals that are not aligned with mine, and they have a right to those goals as long as they're not hurting other people or animals or themselves, and you can choose to not be around the energy of people that you don't align with, that make the different choices, and some might think of them as an enemy. And it's a privileged space for me to come from to even say that I don't believe in enemies, because clearly I'm not fighting a war currently. Like bloody, awful war. I think everybody is an individual person. Every person is an individual person. God forbid. And I think there's people choosing evil acts. I don't think that inherently makes them evil. If they continue to choose these acts again and again and again, I think they are choosing to be evil, or live in the shadow and not look at the way the toxicity is coming up and hurting others around them. And just really living in a toxic wasteland, to be honest, and then pulling others down with them. And that's awful. So I really appreciate the people that are willing to look at and do the work and notice when bad patterns of their own are coming up. And I mean bad patterns as in, self-sabotage and ways they show up that are hurting those around them. And I don't mean in the reprehensible ways where, with certain acts that, that are, you could say, unforgivable. But if somebody who does something that is unforgivable chooses to really look at it, own the consequences of them taking those actions, find their own healing, look at their shadow, figure that shit out, I am likely to root for that person. But they have to keep showing up and clearing those shadows, and they have to, if the consequences of their action means the rest of their life is in prison, they have to own that. or, that they might be a very hated person. They have to own all the consequences that come with their actions. So yeah, I really thought when I thought of this topic, like, please don't use your amazing talents and skills and resources for evil. I thought it sounded kind of theatrical and whimsical and hilarious. And I'm going to be honest with you, I already filmed a video to talk into this, and I found myself talking about really dark things happening in the world currently in recent years, and I didn't want to lean away from them, and I did the video, and I did almost 25 to 30 minutes of this video, and then when I was ready to upload it, it disappeared. So maybe I'm not quite ready to blast it quite as much as I did in that video, but I thought I would just own that I did lean into it there. And that was a choice, because it's really uncomfortable to lean into your shadow, to look at your shadow, to see shitty ways you've been showing up. So anyone that is brave and courageous enough to do so, I just want to honour anyone that's doing that or is curious about doing that, because that's the start. Being curious, making it not a scary thing to look at your shadows. The less scary it becomes to you, and thus your system, the less it will feel like you cannot survive looking at it. That is what your system's wired for. So if we can survive looking at our shadows, the parts of us that maybe we've deemed evil, even if they're not actually evil, which honestly, again, I don't know that I actually believe in evil. I just believe there is hurt people hurting people, hurt things hurting people. Sometimes it's not personal though. I think a lot of the evil acts, to one perspective, might be like completely non-personal from the perspective of the perpetrator. It was just wrong time, wrong place. And I'm not going to say there's definitely times where that's not the truth, but I also do not want to believe in evil, because I want to believe in the best and highest of everyone. Even if they're not showing up that way and they're showing up in toxic traits, I want to hold space for them to find healing for themselves and those around them, and own the consequences and take accountability. So whenever I see someone that's been, cancelled online, like in a way that's just like they didn't do actually anything that reprehensible, there's just a bunch of gossip circling around them, and they've been made wrong and thus cancelled, I actually really appreciate when you see those people come out and own that they maybe acted in certain ways that hurt others, and if they can own that and speak up about it rather than hide and do a whole PR cycle to try and make themselves look good again, whether that works or not, like honestly just come out as a raw, authentic human being saying like, I made a fucking mistake, man. I made many of them because maybe this was a pattern, but I just didn't think about it, or there was too much else going on, and like that doesn't excuse it, but I just want to honor that I am very conscious of it now, and I want to do better, and I'm happy to be held accountable to do better in the future. Like somebody owning that is one of the most powerful things to me. They're like choosing healing for themselves and those around them, and choosing to heal any hurt that they may have caused. Not that they can, necessarily heal everything, but just the intention of, and the taking actions to show that they felt they did something that was untoward. I really appreciate that, and I think a lot of people do. And I don't think you should just throw someone out because they made some mistakes. Now, there are some mistakes that come with very huge consequences, as they should. But what I'm really talking about, to any lovely people that I'm talking to on here, I'm sure, are just the ways that our inner critic have called ourselves not good enough, bad, maybe not evil, but bad for acting in certain ways. And I just want us to be able to look at that with curiosity, with love, own that, choose different actions, prove to ourselves that we can continue to take these actions and thus survive, and still survive, so that we can shift our ways of being that may have been hurting people. So yeah, please don't use your gifts, your wild and precious life, your one wild and precious life, your skills, your resources to do evil. I'm going to leave it there for now. If that other video pops back up, maybe I'll upload it, but I think it might be gone to the world and maybe it was not meant to be. But I don't want to shy away from these conversations, because we can't just throw other people out because they don't agree with us, or their perspective is that you hurt them when really you feel like they hurt you. And sometimes the perpetrators go both ways. So is anyone actually evil in these situations? Well, depends on the situation. Anyway, I'll leave it there tonight, but do good for you first, and then do good for others around you. Please, please, please. We want more good in the world. Thank you.